your fish a little closer. Okay, ready? Okay?
Imagine a young girl in a sunny California town pedaling her bike up and down steep hills to deliver newspapers to 100 neighbors, long before her face ever appeared on a magazine cover. That girl was Kathy Ireland, the same one whose smile would later grace calendars sold by the millions, and who became one of the most iconic swimsuit supermodels of the 80s and 90s. But Kathy Ireland was never just a pretty face. Though the fashion elite scoffed at swimsuit modeling, dismissing it with condescension, she turned it into a dominant force. While the world admired her beachside photos, Kathy was quietly dreaming bigger, mapping out a future most couldn't imagine. Maybe even a billion-dollar empire. This is the story of Kathy Ireland. Her story is filled with ambition, setbacks, and hard-won victories. It's the tale of how she outsmarted the fashion world and built a legacy that's still expanding. Grab a seat. Kathy's journey is one you won't forget. Kathy Ireland was born in 1963 in Glendale, California, a quintessential SoCal town where the Pacific kisses golden beaches. Picture waves breaking on the shore, seagulls circling overhead, and palm trees casting shadows on sun-warmed streets. Her father was a dedicated labor relations executive who spent his days fighting for workers' rights and his evenings recounting hard-won victories. Her mother, a compassionate nurse, brought comfort and kindness to her patients with a quiet strength and gentle smile. Money was tight in the Ireland household, but Kathy was rich in something far more important: ambition, curiosity, and a fiercely creative spirit. She was always finding new ways to see the world and to shape it. As a young girl, she'd collect smooth, ordinary rocks from her neighborhood, paint them into bright little masterpieces, and sell them door to door. Even then, she had a knack for turning the ordinary into something delightful. That simple creativity was the spark of something bigger. Kathy wasn't just artistic, she was active too. She swam in the ocean, tore down bike paths, and raced through Glendale's sun-drenched streets with boundless energy. A self-described tomboy, she preferred climbing trees to playing with dolls. Her dreams weren't yet shaped by cameras or catwalks. She was just a kid with grit, ideas, and a thirst for adventure. But at 17, her story took a dramatic turn, one that would change her life forever. One fateful afternoon, Kathy was spotted by scouts from Elite Model Management, one of the most powerful agencies in the business. Maybe it was her statuesque frame, shaped by years of sports, or that open, sunlit smile that made people feel instantly at ease. Whatever it was, they saw potential. They saw a star. Almost overnight, she was swept into the glittering but unforgiving world of high fashion modeling. At 5'10", with sun-bleached blonde hair and a magnetic presence, Kathy stood out, but not necessarily in the way the industry preferred. The 1980s fashion scene was brutal. It prized icy gazes, chiseled cheekbones, and an untouchable aura fit for the runways of Paris and Milan. Kathy's healthy, approachable beauty didn't fit that ideal. She was warm, relatable, unmistakably American. Behind the scenes, whispers swirled. Insiders called her too ordinary, too girl next door to ever make it big. She wasn't edgy enough, not mysterious enough. But Kathy wasn't wired to seek their approval. Instead of chasing their narrow definition of beauty, she doubled down on authenticity. She refused to pretend. That quiet defiance, choosing to be herself, would become the foundation of everything that came next. In 1984, an opportunity came that would change everything. Kathy was invited to pose for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. It wasn't just another modeling gig. It was a cultural event. The swimsuit issue was a blend of glamour and athleticism that captured the imagination of millions. When her first cover hit newsstands, it was electric. Readers were drawn to her strong, athletic figure, sun-kissed hair, and that radiant, down-to-earth smile. While most fashion models of the time projected cool detachment, Kathy's warmth jumped off the page. She didn't try to be unreachable or mysterious. She was vibrant, approachable, real, and America responded with open arms. Over the next 13 years, she became the defining face of Sports Illustrated. Her calendars became bestsellers at places like Walmart, flying off shelves year after year. Her image wasn't just admired, it became part of everyday life, taped to bedroom walls, dorm rooms, office cubicles. She wasn't just a model anymore, she was a household name. By her mid-20s, Kathy Ireland was more than just famous. She was iconic. Her face was synonymous with success, her name instantly recognizable across America. She traveled the world, graced magazine covers, and had a fan base that adored her. But behind the beach shoots and bright lights, a different reality was setting in. In the fashion world, models were often considered finished by their 30s. It was an unspoken rule, one that loomed large over Kathy's career. New faces were always waiting in the wings, younger and hungrier, ready to claim the spotlight. Kathy felt the pressure. She knew the clock was ticking in an industry that equated value with youth. Beneath the surface, questions stirred. What happens when the spotlight fades? Can I build something that lasts? Something that matters beyond the camera lens? Those questions didn't scare her. They lit a fire. Kathy didn't want to just survive the modeling world. She wanted to outgrow it, and that meant building something of her own. Kathy wasn't going to let the fashion world write her ending. While many models chased the spotlight or reveled in the party scene, Kathy was already thinking ahead. She knew fame could be fleeting, but a smart plan could last a lifetime. In her late 20s, she started planning something far bigger than magazine covers. She wasn't interested in launching a fashion line just to stay in the public eye. Kathy wanted to build a company, a brand that spoke to everyday people and stood the test of time. In the early 1990s, she made her move and founded Kathy Ireland Worldwide, or KIWW. Her goal wasn't to make haute couture or celebrity-endorsed handbags. She wanted to put her name on useful, quality products that regular families needed. And her first product? Socks. Yes, socks. It may have seemed underwhelming, but it was a stroke of genius. The socks were soft, affordable, and sold at Kmart, a place where everyday Americans shopped. Within a few years, over 100 million pairs flew off store shelves. The fashion press scoffed. Socks? At Kmart? They chuckled, not realizing Kathy's brilliance. She wasn't marketing to the fashion elite. She was serving families, mothers, and working people who valued quality without the luxury markup. From socks, her empire grew rapidly. Bedding, lighting, home furniture, wedding dresses, skincare, fitness products, even real estate and finance apps. Kathy wasn't following trends. She was building a diversified brand ecosystem. But here's what made it work. Kathy didn't try to manufacture everything herself. She created partnerships with trusted companies, let them use her name, and took personal responsibility for quality control. She wasn't just the face, she was the engine. She visited manufacturers, reviewed samples, and demanded high standards. No detail was too small. By the early 2000s, KIWW had become a powerhouse. Major news outlets reported billions in annual retail sales across product categories. Kathy Ireland, once dismissed as a girl-next-door model, was now a respected CEO with a business empire spanning dozens of industries. But success didn't come without bruises. Some products flopped. Kathy made rookie mistakes, signed bad contracts, and trusted people who let her down. She wasted time and money, and sometimes second-guessed her own decisions. She also had to deal with relentless criticism. Fashion insiders kept calling her too plain, too boring, too safe. They couldn't see past the model who once smiled from magazine covers. Those words cut deep. In interviews, Kathy has admitted to feeling overwhelmed at times. There were nights filled with doubt, pressure, and fear. But she never gave up. Instead, she read more, listened more, leaned on mentors, and became a better leader with every misstep. Ultimately, Kathy realized she didn't need the fashion world's validation. Her customers, everyday people shopping in stores like Kmart, Walmart, and Bed Bath & Beyond, trusted her, and that trust built her empire. She didn't chase trends. She built a foundation. Her unwavering focus on value and quality set her brand apart. And because of that, her customers didn't just buy once. They came back again and again. Today, Kathy Ireland stands as a living example of how to reinvent a public image and turn perceived limitations into an unstoppable brand. According to Forbes, her personal net worth has soared past $500 million, and her company, Kathy Ireland Worldwide, KIWW, is responsible for over $2.6 billion in annual retail sales globally. That makes her not only one of the richest models of all time, but also one of the most successful women in American business. And yet, her empire was never built on hype. It was built on vision, discipline, and relentless execution. What makes KIWW unique is its reach. Kathy didn't just lend her name to a few niche products, she licensed it across a massive spectrum. From furniture and lighting to skincare, apparel, pet products, and mattresses, her brand spans 17 core product categories sold in more than 80 countries. But none of it came easy. In the early years, the fashion world mocked her business choices. Socks at Kmart, discount bedding. Those weren't model moves. She was ridiculed in media circles for avoiding high fashion and luxury branding. Behind the scenes, Kathy was enduring the hard lessons of entrepreneurship. She signed some bad deals, trusted people who didn't deliver, saw promising product lines fail, and like any founder, she faced moments where it felt like the whole plan might collapse. What got her through wasn't celebrity, it was grit and humility. Kathy surrounded herself with seasoned professionals, asked tough questions, and learned the nuts and bolts of supply chains, product quality control, and retail negotiations. She didn't just show up for branding meetings. She visited factories, she compared fabrics, she challenged packaging designs. Every item with her name on it had to reflect her values: trust, affordability, and quality. That attention to detail built a connection with consumers that no glossy ad campaign could fake. And while many celebrity brands fade after a few years, Kathy's is still expanding. That's because she never relied on trendiness, she built around utility. Lamps, bath towels, rugs, mattresses, reading glasses, products that don't go out of style and are part of people's homes and daily lives. All of that came from a woman once considered too ordinary for fashion. And speaking of fashion, let's not forget the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, where Kathy became a cultural icon. She appeared in the magazine 13 years in a row, with her 1989 cover becoming one of the best-selling of all time. Her presence helped evolve the very definition of the swimsuit model. Before Kathy, many covers featured a more aloof, inaccessible image of beauty. But her warmth, health-focused appearance, and authenticity changed the tone. After her rise, the swimsuit issue began leaning into more approachable and athletic aesthetics. Models like Heidi Klum, Tyra Banks, and later Kate Upton and Ashley Graham would follow in her footsteps, women whose charm and confidence, rather than mystery or thinness, made them icons. Kathy helped expand the appeal of the swimsuit issue beyond fashion circles. Suddenly, it wasn't just a glossy magazine, it was a nationwide event. By the 1990s and 2000s, the issue had spin-offs, behind-the-scenes specials, dedicated calendars, and international editions. Many credit Kathy's long-term association with laying the foundation for that commercial explosion. And yet, she was never content to be remembered for that alone. Her legacy today is one of endurance and integrity. In a world obsessed with short-term wins, Kathy built a brand with long-term trust. She's spoken to millions, not with high fashion or headlines, but with products that quietly improve everyday life. She's also left a model, literally and figuratively, for other women to follow. Her licensing strategy was years ahead of its time. Entrepreneurs like Jessica Simpson have cited her influence. Even mega brands like the Kardashians have adopted the same approach, owning a brand, not just endorsing one. Kathy Ireland didn't just break the mold, She reshaped the entire playbook. She proved you can be wholesome and powerful, that faith and ambition can coexist, and that no industry, no label, not even just a swimsuit model, can define your limits. She was once a California kid selling painted rocks door to door. Today, her name is in millions of homes, not because she followed trends, but because she built something people could trust. So the next time you see a Kathy Ireland lamp, mattress, or wedding gown, remember, you're not just seeing a brand. You're seeing the proof of what happens when resilience meets vision and never gives up.